Good evening and welcome to the July 19th Planning Commission meeting. We will begin tonight with invocation by Commissioner Geis and flag salute by Commissioner Gerba.
Father, we thank you. We ask for your wisdom tonight as you be with us all, be with the first responders, the kids getting ready to go back to school. Thank you for your hand of protection on us. We give you the glory, honor, and praise for everything in your precious name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Chairman Baker,
Here.
Vice Chairman Wright,
Here.
Commissioner Enmark,
Here.
Commissioner Gerba,
Here.
Commissioner Geis.
Here.
And hopefully you've had a chance to read the minutes from the June 14th meeting. Do I have any additions or corrections? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Geis,
Yes.
Commissioner Gerba,
Yes.
Commissioner Enmark,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Baker.
Yes. Any visitors in the audience, if you have anything on a non-agenda item, this is your opportunity to speak up on anything not in the agenda. If not, moving on to item 3, to hear a request by Country Equipment for a second curb cut at 2001 West Vanderbilt. And somebody to speak to that, step forward, say your name and address, please.
Jody Sparks, and do you want the company address?
Company address,
Okay.
yes.
It's 3 North Morgan Road, Tuttle, Oklahoma, 73089.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, we sell Kubota tractors. We sell Polaris ATVs. We sell, 2 or 3 different lines of zero-turn lawnmowers. We also have a rental department where we rent out, rent tractors, we rent skid steers, we just excavators, stuff like that. Our thought process is to try and keep everything from being congested. Everything that gets delivered to us that we sell is basically delivered to us off of a semi. And then anything that we let go, bigger equipment wise, as far as what we rent, tractors, excavators, they all go on trailers. Our thought process is to have one entrance and then have a separate exit. That way you don't have, we just think as far as the congestion, I think it's going to be better for safety reasons. And just be a little bit easier for a semi, carrying a whole bunch of equipment to get in and out of our location without it really disrupting a whole bunch of traffic right there in that area.
This is basically to keep semis from having to stop on Vanderbilt, back in.
Exactly.
Pull out.
Yeah. So it's almost what our thinking is to you guys. I think you guys have the diagram. Is our thought process is to have the west side the entrance and the east side, which would be between us and Bounce Academy, to have that the exit, and just have a semi be able to circle around and have that just be an exit only.
So you're on your directions to your drivers delivering to you, would you encourage them to get off on Frisco and come
Yes,
that way?
absolutely. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
That'd be great. Any questions from the commissioners?
And these are going to be approximately 200 feet apart.
Yes.
All right. I think we all understand what you want to do.
Okay.
Yep. Have someone to read the draft motion?
I can do it. Maybe. In the case of the curb cut application by Clark Construction Incorporated on behalf of Country Equipment LLC, we have read the staff report and received testimony at the public hearing. We find ourselves in agreement with the staff findings cited in the staff report. I move that this item be recommended for approval with the following additional conditions. The drive intended for trailer traffic be marked as for trailer traffic only, with the sign oriented such that it is visible in both directions of traffic flow.
You okay with that? The condition?
I am.
All right.
Yep.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman Baker,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Enmark,
Yes.
Commissioner Gerba,
Yes.
Commissioner Geis.
Yes.
Welcome to Yukon.
Thank you.
Item 4, to hear a request by Tina Nunn, Nunn Construction, for a second curb cut or a circular driveway at 901 Granite, Yukon, Oklahoma. Someone to speak to that? Say your name and address, please.
I'm Tina Nunn of Nunn Construction, and my home address is 505 West Main Street in Moore, 73160.
Okay. Just plain language, what you'd like to do.
What we would like to do is just have a circle driveway. We already had the designer, whenever he did the plot plan on this property, going ahead and draw it in as a circle drive. We've gotten all the permits and everything on this property. We have not as yet begun construction on it, but we'd like to do this circle drive whenever it comes time to do the driveway, just do 2 cuts as opposed to 1. We looked through the subdivision, it's the Rock Creek subdivision, and about half of the houses in there have circle drives. So this is not anything out of the ordinary. We would not be using any kind of products that would be different than anything else or any different than the other part of the driveway that's just straight.
Is it in Stone Creek?
I believe it's Stone Creek.
Stone Creek, okay.
Yeah, 901 Granite Court. The wife and I are the ones that are working together on the house and the plan and all of that kind of stuff, but the husband, he only wanted one thing, and that was a circle drive. That's it.
Can understand that.
He hasn't requested anything else. That's it.
Any questions from the commissioners on this? I will point out, because it comes up after the fact, on the inspections, that little line there that says the inspectors are to come out after the forms are in and before the concrete is poured.
Right.
Our inspectors hate to get there and see the Delisi truck leave.
It's late, too late. Yeah, no,
if you could-
we can do that, yeah.
If you can help us out with that, I'm sure that
got it.
our city people would be most appreciative. If there are no other questions, have someone read the draft motion, please.
Yeah, I'll take it. In the case of the curb cut application by Nunn Construction Company LLC on behalf of Alan and Deborah Owen, we have read the staff report and received testimony at the public hearing. We find ourselves in agreement with the staff findings cited in the staff report. I move that this item be recommended for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Chairman Baker,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Enmark,
Yes.
Commissioner Gerba,
Yes.
Commissioner Geis.
Yes.
Thank you. Good
Thank
luck with
you
the
all.
project. And item 5, to hear a request by Mitchell Hort, Assistant City Manager on behalf of the City of Yukon, to change City of Yukon Ordinance R1 and height regulations and R2, area and height regulations, not more than 35% of the lot shall be covered with improvements. Change the city ordinance to not more than 40% of the lot area covered with improvements. Mr. Hort.
Yes, we've had quite a few requests having to go to the Board of Adjustments. We've had so many that we're bringing this to you tonight to look at changing our lot coverage from 35% to 40%. We did, if you look in the staff report, we did look at various cities and their lot coverages. Accessory buildings is where we're having a problem. 40% seems to be the point that will get most of our variances or variance requests. So that's what we're asking for, is to go from 35 to 40 for R1 and R2 zoning. Like I said, you can look in there, Oklahoma City's lot coverage is 50%, and you got El Reno's 40 and 45 on R2, and so forth. And then you'll see some of them actually have like a 30% lot coverage, then plus a 20% area of the rear yard. So we feel like right now that the 35 that we have is a little restrictive, and we'd like to go to 40 if that is a recommendation of the Planning Commission.
What did we have to go to on the behind behind the neighborhood market?
It's more than 40. I'd have to go back. I'm thinking we're reaching about 45, if I remember right, off the top of my head. I'm not for sure.
So that's just a one outlier. So most of them are between 35 and 40. We could get rid of the variance.
Most of what we have is about 40% will take care of it. There'll still be some that go over that, but we feel like the 40% will get most of them, not all of them. Then through the process of the update with the zoning ordinance, as we go forward, we'll look more at that to see if we think there's something more appropriate than this that we're requesting tonight.
So this is like a temporary fix, if you will?
Well, it's a temporary fix to the problems we have. The dollar amount of our Board of Adjustments that we have to have anymore, by the time they make application, by the time we put it in the paper twice, yeah, it gets pretty expensive. And then you have to have a certified owner's list. You're, approaching $600, $700, $800, depending on what it is. So we're trying to take care of that in between.
Mitchell, I got a quick question. I'm just kind of curious about the advantages and disadvantages. Let's say, 35% versus 50%.
The disadvantage would be that a house that we now are putting on a lot goes from 35% lot coverage to 40% lot coverage. And we're talking about what's under roof. We're not talking about concrete sidewalks, driveways, pools.
I got you.
If they covered the whole yard with concrete. So that would probably be the biggest disadvantage.
And that mainly is density. Is that essentially what we're kind of looking at as far as, well, but
it's not, the density doesn't really, density of the lot, yes.
What about drainage? Is that
Drainage, we feel like we're okay at 40%. Any more than that, we really have to look at that. Because you can cover your whole yard with concrete and we don't do anything with that. So we feel we're comfortable with that extra percentage of what they're requesting up to that 40.
So would we have the leeway under the new proposal? It would just make sense if something were being built in the Ranchwood area to stay at 35. I mean, the drainage over there now is, or would we just be at 40?
I think, when you start, you can't go one neighborhood 35, one neighborhood 40, one neighborhood 45.
But you understand my reasoning on Ranchwood.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Ranchwood, we have several areas that we have issues with drainage. And that's why we felt like we'd probably be okay with 40% at this time until our city engineer really has a look at the impact or potential impact if everybody built something.
There's drainage issues in Parkland 1 too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're all downhill into the creek.
Yeah.
So what is the height portion of this? Because it says height also.
It's in the area, that's in that section. That's one of the things we're going to clean up. It's in that section, area height and lot coverage. It's actually, we're just talking about lot coverage, not the height. Of the
So
lot
we're not
coverage.
changing the height.
No, we're not doing anything. Just lot coverage is what we're requesting tonight.
And what percentage of this do you think it'll eliminate the variances on? Is it gonna cut half of it?
Maybe not quite half, but
Okay.
it will get a large number, I think. But it's like this. Once we go to 40%, then we'll have those that want to go up 45%.
Yeah.
But
Totally
we're
get-
trying to
Yeah, I
find
totally
that
get that,
happy
right?
median, and that's why we think we're okay at 40.
Okay.
I think it's going to take some time as we go through the process to really look at the potential impacts of drainage. Drainage is a big issue with the rain events and the type of rain events we have. Weather has changed. There was a time that we didn't get 2 inches in an hour, but now we're getting some of these.
Last Friday.
Yes.
Right.
So we are looking at, we are concerned. That's why we felt we're comfortable with that. The issues, when you talk about impervious surface, then that's another issue. But by what we can do today, I can cover my whole yard with concrete.
Right.
And that's at 100% of the lot, so that's all runoff.
Right.
One of the things through this process, one of the things we did talk about, and we will talk about, is the number of accessory structures a person may have in their backyard. Maybe we need to limit to 1 or no more than 2, because we have some that have 3 or 4.
Yeah.
There's a his and a hers and an ours or something. And we know people, I'm sure you know a person or two that may have more than one.
We do not.
They're not common, but
We do not currently permit those, though, for habitants.
they're not allowed by ordinance to have or use them as a residential unit. Because of the zoning, the lot coverage is required. Now, I'm not saying there's some not out there, but by ordinance, what we've allowed, they're not allowed. If they are, then they would be coming before you or the Board of Adjustments, depending on what type of request they may have.
So on Frisco Phase 3, I know I'm asking you to remember way back a couple of years, but on the last phase of Frisco Ridge, was that a variance for?
The lot coverage there, I think is 40 or 45%. I can't remember off the top of my head. That was because of the type home they was proposing to do. That was actually a PUD overlay.
Right. But I don't think that size house was ever built.
No,
I think
because the market changed, if you remember right, about the time they got started. I think one of the builders, Randy Montgomery, got one built in there, and then the market kind of
changed. Yeah.
changed.
Okay. So we're a person would not be obligated. I mean, they could build 25% if they wanted. I mean, you can always stay under.
That maximum of 40% is what, like I said, the only, potential impact is a larger house or a larger duplex or something.
Okay.
The positives is, we'd be allowing some people an opportunity to have some type of storage unit.
Okay. Any other questions? Have someone read the draft motion?
I'll get it. In the matter of the proposed ordinance amendment to increase the permitted lot coverage in the R1 single-family residential district and the R2 combined residential district from 35% to 40%, we have read the staff report and received testimony at the public hearing. We find ourselves in agreement with the staff and the discussion found in the staff report. I move that this item be recommended for approval to the City Council.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Chairman Baker,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Enmark,
Yes.
Commissioner Gerba,
Yes.
Commissioner Geis.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, no new business tonight.
No study sessions upcoming?
Yes, as you know, tonight we got started on looking at the zoning requirements of the city codes and updating them. If you remember, we're going to try to do quarterly meetings with the Planning Commission. Try to keep you informed in those changes so you guys will have all the input that you would like, but we'd like to have a lot of input from you because this is something that's going to have an impact on our community for quite some time. As you was hearing, the last one was basically in the 60s, so this is our time to get things right and hopefully do some interesting and cool things.
Are we able to get those PDF before the fact? I mean, whatever we're going to look at?
I think Kathy did give you this time, the copy of what we were given.
Right.
Did you not have it in the packet? Yeah, we're going to try to give you a copy of what they're proposing to do.
Otherwise, Commissioner Gerba is not able to do his stellar proofreading.
Oh,
One of the
I need to
problems.
marinate for about 4 days on some of these topics and think through it.
yeah, we're going to try
One
to
of
make
the problems is they work on them, like, what you got as far as a copy
Yeah.
was a previous one that we had went through, and I got the copy that they used tonight at 11 o'clock today.
Right.
So.
I understand.
We're trying to work on getting that in a timely manner so we have the opportunity.
Okay.
What I'm thinking also, if you are working on certain passages, you can probably just flag those. Hey, flag for revision, so we kind of know. Hey, instead of picking away at it, that you're already working on those sections.
Yeah, that's our plan, is to get it to you in a timely manner, because I'm kind of like you. I hate to show up and start flipping through it and reading it when I could have had an opportunity to have 4 or 5 days with it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Anything from the commissioners? Nope, nothing there. I want to thank the commissioners for, once again, wading through an agenda and sending things to the city council that are well thought out and reasoned. So, thank you all very much for attending, and this meeting is adjourned.